Now, I was just, I don't know what I was saying to you. When you came to make Hidden Agenda about the north of Ireland, did you have an attitude to the north before you made the movie?
Yeah, because you can't be in England and not be innocent of what the British have been doing to the Irish for a few hundred years. So you start from the point of view that the
800, but
800.
I don't want to remind you. Yeah.
Well, a few hundred,
yeah.
Lots.
Yeah.
You have to know that the violence has been done by the British to the Irish. So I mean, that's an attitude.
But you did you were accused of giving the IRA a kind of a rosy glow and a slightly romantic.
The IRA aren't in the picture at all. It's not about the IRA. It's about the dirty tricks of the British, the dirty war the British have been fighting, and the corrupting effects that's had on British politics as a whole.
Were you surprised at you got runner-up at 1990 at the Cannes?
We got the Critics' Prize.
Critics' Prize. Were you surprised at the reaction of the British press? Some of them walked out and were very righteous about it.
Yeah. Sorry, Special Jury Prize.
Special Jury.
That's what we're saying. Well, no, we weren't surprised because you're used to the right-wing hacks of the British press, and if you deal with Ireland in any way except say that it's about suppressing terrorism, then of course they treat you as in this way.
You like stirring it up all the same, don't you, Ken?
Yeah. Well, I think some things need to be stirred up. You know, if you've got a war going on in what they call the United Kingdom, and it's a war the British keep quiet about, it's time it was stirred up.
But just generally, like in your whole career, you have at times seemed to be provocative and not going for the soft option of making movies that the guy will give you money for. Who do you like to fight with most? Is it the establishment or the money men?
I'm not really looking for a fight really, but I guess it's established attitudes, or it's the lies that lie behind the news, I guess, is what winds you up.
Does that make it much harder for you to get money though when you come to do a project?
It's hard for British filmmakers anyway. It's hard to make films in Britain, as I guess we all know.
Yeah.
So it's the effort of trying to do British films is what's hard, I think.
Now you just pulled off, you just got the Phoenix for your latest movie, Riff Raff, in Berlin. Yeah. So you're looking at European movies. With the EEC and all this, is British cinema going to disappear unless something drastic is done soon?
Yeah, I think so. I think British films for television won't disappear, but British films in the cinema have a really tough time because we're dominated by the Yanks. And if you go to the cinema, you expect to see an American film, you expect to see American stars, hear American voices, and I think that is it. I mean, it's the law of the free market, and the free market doesn't work in cinema any more than it works in anything else. Yeah. And that's what's pushing British films out.
Yeah. You started, of course, making kind of almost docudramas like Cathy Come Home and Poor Cow. And again, I mean, that's not really a reflection of your own background. So was that the kind of attitude that prevailed in the 60s, to be socially aware?
Yeah, I mean, that came out of the writers that we were working with and what seemed to us important subjects to film. I mean, that was at a time when television drama was very much in the studio.
Yeah.
And what we tried to do was to take the camera on the streets and make fiction out of people's lives and reflect what was really happening.
Would you ever go for a glamorous one? I mean, is there anything that would seduce you to Hollywood and any theme?
I find Hollywood pretty boring, really. That's the problem. And films about film stars pretty boring. So I wouldn't find that seductive. I think there are things to be said about America, that's something else, but that's not Hollywood.
Yeah. And now, Riff Raff, you're going to try and get that released in Britain. Is that again a problem, just even getting a release?
Yeah, I mean, it's done really well in Europe.